96, 97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi
News.
97.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe. Tonight I'm here with
Eno Safo.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
I wish to commend the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Governor of the Bank of Ghana for the close collaboration and coordination they are displaying in this economic turnaround.
Exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city. They cannot tell you one.
The never-ending debate over the recent appreciation of the city. Who takes the credit? The Akufo-Addo administration or the John Mahama government? Also coming up on Eyewitness News.
With deep regret but unwavering resolve, our decision to embark on an indefinite strike action, effective today, 21st May 2025.
University senior staff declare nationwide strike, a move that threatens academic activities on various campuses across the country. Later on Eyewitness News, Supreme Court dismisses case challenging President Mohammed's decision to suspend the country's Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Stay with 97.3 on Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness. On business,
BOG Governor describes recent S&P upgrade a strong indication that Ghana is on track to macroeconomic stability.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country and around the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. Talking about affiliates, if you're in the Western region, you can hear us on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, as well as Sky 93.5 FM or in Takrady. In the Bono region, you can hear us on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, hear us on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Eastern region, hear us on Right 90.1 FM in Somenya. In the Volta region, Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. In the Northern region, you can hear us on Dasma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, Word 88.3 FM. As well as the Upper West region, hear us on Boogie Radio 88.6 FM. You can also join the conversation by sending us a WhatsApp message on the number 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Eno has a first story.
The Bank of Ghana says it will intensify key reforms to consolidate recent gains made by the city, which has appreciated by nearly 17% year to date. The rally of the local currency has been largely driven by coordinated fiscal discipline and tight monetary policy measures. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Asiama, believes the next phase of reforms will focus on sustaining foreign exchange inflows and tightening regulatory oversight in the forex market. He was speaking at the opening of the bank's 124th Monetary Policy Committee meeting a while ago at the Bank Square.
The appreciation of the city reflects a combination of factors, including prudent monetary policy, the improved market sentiment, as well as the external sector gains that we are witnessing. We are also seeing encouraging signs of macroeconomic progress. For example, Ghana has reached a staff-level agreement with the IMF regarding the fourth review of the ECF program. And although some prior actions remain outstanding, the trajectory is clearly positive.
Dr. Johnson Asiama is Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Let's go onto the phone line and speak to Dr. Stephen Amwa. He's the Member of Parliament for the Menchia constituency and the former Deputy Minister of Finance. Doc, thank you very much and good evening for your good evening and thank you very much for your time. The Bank of Ghana governor believes that the recent appreciation of the cedi we are seeing, it's as a result of prudent monetary policy, improved market segmentation, as well as external sector gain. You believe that is why we are seeing the recent trend we are seeing as far as the cedi appreciation is concerned?
Hello, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
I didn't hear you too well, but I have an idea where you were directing your questions to or from. So I don't know, did you say that I'm a member of parliament for Manshia?
No, I said member of parliament for the Inshiaiso constituency.
Yes, okay, thank you very much.
I said Inshiaiso.
My regards to our listeners this very moment. I thought we could really even have a very long period to discuss this issue so that we once and for all draw curtains on all these hullabaloo or the controversy that is giving rise to. Honestly speaking, if it's a political statement, just like the NDC guys want to take credit, they will take. And of course, politically they are in power. Except that if that is also the case, then they should also take whatever credit they have to take when it comes to the energy sector crisis we are having now. When it comes to the doom, so they say, oh, we just came to power. When it's exchange rate, they say no. They have been able to put measures in place. Honestly speaking, that is not true. That is never ever true. In the first place, we need to understand the fact that cocoa prices, gold prices are all going up very, very high on the international market now. That is one. Two, it was the NPP government that for the first time, to the best of my memory, when we had to do cocoa syndication, we domesticated that policy to the extent that hundreds of millions of dollars that were supposed to be paid to foreign bodies were directed to Ghana. I mean, were directed here to the banks in Ghana. I mean, to Bank of Ghana. This is a fact. So we are talking about accumulation of dollar in our system. One of the major reasons is that we are having cocoa prices, gold prices, and talking about even cocoa being kept in Ghana here, being reserved here. It was a policy that we rather even started. If we want to do policy, but I don't want to go in there. Now you talk about other factors of exchange rate or forex exchange rate. You deal with primary balance, you deal with trade balance, you deal with how your economy is being stabilized, how the economy is growing to put confidence. I mean, in the minds of investors, both foreign and even in Ghana here. Last quarter 2024, our GDP had grown to about almost 6%. In fact, I think 5.6. Even higher than we inherited in 2016. Our primary balance, all of them, actually I'm driving now, so I don't even have the figures. I don't want to quote anything that they will change the story later on. But almost all the primary macro indicators, most of them, with the exception of inflation, that we have even moved all the way from 54.1 to even 20. And probably even talk about the exchange rate. We have done far better than even 2016 that we took over. So the fact is that the economy has started doing so much well in this country. I mean from September to December 2024 that we went on the polls and then the new government took over. So look, we are talking about we are actually being physically disciplined. If we have not been physically disciplined throughout 2023 through 2024, how were we able to get both staff and board level approvals coming from the IMF and the other world bodies for us to get all those, credits and the monies that we got into this country? Because we have been very disciplined. And secondly, any new government in anywhere in the world and in Ghana here, within 6 months, you cannot even sit down and say you are not spending. You are not spending because you are not putting your government structure in place. Even some of the boards, they have not finished forming them. gold bought. I just saw it, was it yesterday or a couple of days ago in the newspapers. So even if they are saying that they are being disciplined, it's not a matter of discretionary policy or decision. It's a matter of their forming their government. So it looks as if everything we are enjoying now basically comes from the proceeds from last quarter, and now we are still enjoying these goodwill. So they should accept that. In any case, are we saying that what we are also seeing today is stable, is something that is giving us the needed resilience and stability, and that dollar is not going to put up this sinusoidal performance again? No. We have not still put in place that comprehensive long-term strategy that we need or technique. Because all over the world, these are all short-term policies, and they are not sustainable.
So you believe...
That is not what I wish anyway. That is not my wish. But what I'm saying is that I think if they say they are putting measures in place, to me, it's too early and it's not really appropriate. They should be able to provide Ghanaians with what they inherited. If you are talking about monetary policy, tell me anything that they've done different from the monetary policy that was being put in place. Vis-a-vis the circulation of money on our market at that time, and even the inflationary targeted policies that made the Bank of Ghana to increase even its policy rate and stuff like that. I think we need to be fair with ourselves. Let's stop these politics of NDC and PP and make sure that as a country, what are the causes of this whole sporadic and unstable dollar city issue and relationship and put in place. Look, as I'm talking to you now, black market is still prevailing. And we have official rate and market rates. And normally we have very large variance between the two. And it raises even concerns among the external relevant stakeholders such as IMF and even World Bank. It creates a lot of problems for all of us. We've been holding meetings with them. Ask the Bank of Ghana people what I'm saying is not true.
So you believe
the NDC guys are making dollar to within about 5 months. What policy could they have put in place for this thing to happen?
Stephen Amar, so you believe that it's too early for the NDC and this government to jubilate over this dollar issue?
You're talking about exchange rate. But then it's not an event, it's a protest. You cannot say that within these 3 months you have taken this measure. Of course, politically they can take credit. That one, yes. But it's something that they know they came and met the goodwill that we have left for them. And of course, it's demand and supply. And it's like you're fighting with somebody. What is the situation when it comes to world trade war that we're also talking about? And some people are saying that it doesn't impact Ghana. I mean, that is juvenile discussion. Because if the dollar is also not attractive elsewhere, it also happens. What is the situation like with pounds and other things? I mean, what they are talking about, no, that is not properly, placed for Ghanaians to believe in. They can say these things to those who do not understand the mechanization, the processes of all these dollar exchange rate issues. They should state clearly all the independent variables. And then let us know how are they performing before NPP government handed power to them. Then what have they added?
Hello, Stega, let me come in here. But there are others who also say that we've seen inflation dropping. As at 2024, it was 23%. Now, as at April, it was 21.2%. The president is also heard saying that they are dealing with deficit, which is dropping from 7.5% of GDP. That was in 2024 to 6.4% as at the first quarter of 2025. So at least there's a marginal improvement. And so the projection is that if it continues this way, the sustainability of what we are seeing with the city will be maintained.
We are saying, let me ask you this. All these primary indicators were really doing well and coming down. Those that we needed them to come down were coming down even faster than they are talking about. Because of the world crisis, because of the impaired productivity, we went as high as 64.1%. And it came down to 23%. And these indicators, they are not events, they are processes. You can just wake up and say, I've done this, so they are down. So if somebody has a terminal disease, I mean, people should forgive me, If somebody had a terminal disease, and through somebody's proper medical care and the grace of God, the person has started doing so much well that he couldn't eat for months. He started eating. His hands became pale. It's resolved. His blood was low. It's resolved, and everything is coming on. Then you come and the person, if he started eating, he was eating for months, and he started eating every week. And you come and now he's eating every 5 days. You say you have done well. No. They can say that, okay, they've been able to sustain what they came to meet. In any case, if we hadn't been physically disciplined, how could we have gotten the approval? Let's be honest. What did they do to even get a third approval? They hadn't done anything, because it was just, I think, in February. They have not even formed their government. And even as I'm talking to you now, they have not completed forming the entire government when it comes to even boards and other things. They are still making a lot of changes. So what I'm saying is that they cannot take glory for something they've not done, something they've done virtually nothing about. Nothing. The IMF has set conditionalities and the way we should spend. And we had, indicative targets that we are supposed to meet as a country. And NPP government had met most of them. And that ends us all the three approvals that we had. You are in this country. Look, our debt to GDP went as high as about 80%. By the time we're handing over, my own brother, Dr. Atoforson, a very brilliant brother, my greetings to him, came to the Parliament House, presented a budget. In the same budget, go and look at what they stated about what we left for them. And the GDP had come below 70, was about 60-something percent.
Okay.
60-something percent. In fact, NDC's own budget 2016, go and check. They left 70-something percent. It was in it, I think 73 or so.
Okay.
So we had actually gotten this economy restored.
So in conclusion, the MPP should be given the credit for what we are seeing.
Look, I don't want to even do politics with them. But if they want to go political, then this is the work of the MPP campaign.
Okay, all right. Stiga, thank you very much. Stephen Amwa, Dr. Stephen Amwa is a member of parliament for the Inshiaiso constituency and a former deputy minister of finance. Let's go on to the other line and speak to Professor Godfred Bokwe, who is an economist, to also get his views on this particular debate. We understand. Okay, Doc is not on the line, and then producers will raise him back on the telephone line. But before that, let's read some text messages or messages you have sent in. Albert from Adenta said the economy is seeing improvement, and the MPP attributes to external factors, including Donald Trump. I hope they will remember to attribute difficult times under the current government to foreign factors, as they did all the time the last 3 years. We understand Professor Godfrey Bompe is back on the line. Let's speak to him. Prof, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Not to draw you into the politics of the MPP and the NDC, but the MPP believes that they should be given the credit for the gains we are seeing as far as the Citi appreciation is concerned.
To some extent, yes. I think that if you look at the data after December 2024, after the election, the IMF program indicators, we missed practically all of them, with the exception of two, largely. One was the GDP growth, which was higher than the program target. We ended the year with 5.7%. And then the other thing we did well above the IMF threshold was our international reserves. So you could see that as part of the goal for reserves, largely, of course, this whole discussion also started with gold for oil, which later more or less Bank of Ghana bought into it to what we call gold for reserves. So the previous administration left substantial reserves, which this administration inherited, and they have also consolidated. Okay, then again, when it comes to certain exchange rate reforms, management, even with respect to fintechs, remittances, and the rest of them, yes, there have been ongoing reforms in that area, even also as part of the IMF-supported program. So that, to that extent, we would say yes. In fact, in the run-up to the 2024 election and right after, we had feared, more or less, entertained some fears that given the improved reserves higher than the IMF threshold, there was a possibility of the outgoing government using that to strengthen the currency and claim political victory, that they left the exchange rate at a much lower end, and then whatever happens after, they could make political gains out of it. But I think that was managed quite well. So to a large extent, yes. But then you also see that with the regime change, it came with goodwill, confidence. It was a big relief for people, businesses, and all of that. That yes, Ghana is being given a chance to grow, and all of that. But more importantly, you will see that the new administration, from fiscal side. So I've heard people saying there's no policy backing this. From the fiscal side, there is an intention to arrive at this point. There is an intention, and that is why I hold the view that it is not accidental. Okay, what is the intention? You will see that the 2025 budget, government sought to shrink expenditure significantly. In fact, the current administration has benefited from what the previous administration failed to do over a long period of time, because right from COVID, the call had been cut wasteful expenditure, shrink expenditure, right, and all of that. That's where you begin to moderate the effect of the crisis, but we didn't do that. Then especially, look at the issue. In the run-up to 2024 election, especially the last 3 weeks before the handing over, there was a huge injection of liquidity into the economy. Payments in excess of 18 billion. If you look at the data. Okay, so instead, we have programmed in the revised budget of 2024 that our gross financing need will be around 54 billion Ghana cedis or so. We ended up with over 61 billion Ghana cedis in terms of our gross financing needs. How did the current administration seek to address that? What they did was to recalibrate the fiscal regime, essentially switching significantly to what we call expenditure-based fiscal consolidation. In nominal terms, they shrunk expenditure by more than 10 billion cedis. Then, because they are not paying the arrears and all of that, because there is also an agreement with the IMF to have these arrears audited and all of that. Okay, so they did that from the expenditure end, and then they also administered what we call shock therapy. Another way of describing that to a layman is to put the economy in a medically induced coma, right? So once you are not spending and all of that, then you've also shrunk your gross financing needs from 61.4 billion Ghana cedis in 2024, okay, to around 44 billion Ghana cedis. That signals a reduced borrowing appetite. Even with that borrowing appetite, the Minister of Finance wasn't accepting bids from the auction market that much. So how did he do it? Of course, there are trade-offs, right? So he was sweeping balances from state-owned enterprises. So bank balances with state-owned enterprises, ministry, department agencies were essentially swept, okay, to meet government obligations as and when they fall due. So to that extent, government wasn't active in the auction market, whether 91 day, 182 day, or whatever. So what was the result of that? The result of that was for treasury bill rates to drag down significantly. We are talking about treasury bill rates around 16%, the rest of them. That also caused the Ghana reference rate to come down to about 23-24%. However, we've not seen this broadening. We've not seen this broadening. So, in fact, what has happened from the expenditure side is that government is not spending. And the government is the biggest spender in the economy. So when government is not spending, that is not backed by cash flow, liquidity circulation in the economy is constrained.
Exactly, because that is one of the accusations coming from the opposition, which says that because it's a new government, they've not signed huge contracts yet. They've not, formed their boss and everything. So spending
signature on the ground.
So spending is limited. The more reason we are seeing this gain. So when they begin doing more spending, it's likely that we may see some changes in what we are seeing.
I learned to that, and that is why our initial position was to send a caution. It's a caution, not that the central bank and Minister of Finance they are completely off target. No. Look, we all agree that the economy was overheated. We needed this kind of therapy. But the question is, how do you use that gain? Do you use that favorable condition to drag down or cause the strengthening of your currency, so that you could record some short-term gains? And of course, there will be manifest short-term gains, right? One, we expect that with where the exchange rate right now, our debt to GDP ratio will decelerate, will come down. Our debt servicing in foreign terms will become cheaper, right? It will also cause inflation to trend to single digits. You heard the president talking about it. So there's some kind of common sense behind what is going on. But the legitimate concern also is how sustainable. But from the fiscal side, I've told you what is happening. The monetary side is backing that. And let me congratulate, I've said it before, this is not politics. I want to congratulate the Minister of Finance and Governor of Bank of Ghana. There's a strong coordination and complementarity between fiscal and monetary, something we haven't seen in a while. Under normal circumstances, within a proper macroeconomic framework, we expect the monetary policy to complement fiscal policy. But what we have seen under Governor Addison and Honorable Kenoforiata was that the fiscal side was very strong, called that one fiscal dominance of monetary policy. When it happens that way, you could only pursue monetary policy as subordinate to fiscal policy rather than it being to complement that. We didn't have that. But this time round, the two of them are working in tandem with a focus. So in addition to that, you see that there's increased sterilization in the market. What do we mean by sterilization? Even though treasury bill rate has come down, Bank of Ghana has jacked up their monetary operation tool called Bank of Ghana bills. So the Bank of Ghana bills rate has been increased. What was the purpose? To mop up excess liquidity. So from the fiscal side, limited injection of liquidity. They are not paying contracted. They are not spending. So flow is constrained. Then the fiscal side, there's also mopping up of liquidity. So, and they've actually quadrupled that. They've tripled that in terms of the sterilization. Okay, you can check the data. You see what is happening there. All right, that is not the only thing. So monetary-wise, there's complementarity. Fiscal-wise, there is fiscal discipline, right, extensively. Now, from the supply side, the advantage is on the part of the central bank. There's improved flows, FX. There's improved flows. Where are the flows coming from? Increased export earnings. Okay, so Trump, as people try to prove Trump, okay, shift from currency-based investment to real assets. Remember, tariffs cause disruptions in trade flows, and the immediate effect of that is exchange rate. So investors are shifting away from currency-based investment, whether euros, sterling, or USD. So they are switching to real assets, call it gold, cocoa. So we've seen the uptick. That is also benefiting us. Then there's remittances. There's improvement in terms of how remittances are handled. Great. Then there is also cocoa. So from the supply side, Bank of Ghana has the upper hand. So with subdued demand, constrained expenditure, little uptake in imports, the economy's ability to absorb foreign currency is limited. Okay. So when Bank of Ghana comes onto the market and even inject minimal effect, let's say even $50 million on daily basis is enough to cause a currency movement.
Prof, sorry to cut in, but then my final question. There are many also believe that external factors may affect the gains that we are seeing. And so, if, for instance, the U.S., tariff issue is well resolved and other factors, coming, we may see some significant changes in the gains that we are currently seeing. You envisage that as well?
Yeah, let's enjoy it whilst it lasts. But the caution is that let's not use this favorable condition to artificially drag down the rate, which unsettles the market. Stability is to be treasured over disruptions. So we respect Bank of Ghana, Minister of Finance, the gains that we've made. But the important thing is also anchor expectations of people. It's part of monetary policy. It's part of fiscal policy conduct and all of that. But of course, we expect that there will be some reversal somewhere along the line. But do you know what is happening?
Tell me.
Even if there's a reversal, there is scope now. Bank of Ghana has created scope to allow for some depreciation going forward, and it will not be abnormal. It's 12. So if the Citi depreciates to, let's say, 16, 17, the rate of where they took it from and where it will be, they have some political issues to deal with there.
Prof, as always, thank you very much. Professor Godfred Bokwe is an economist speaking to us on the never-ending debates over who should take credit for the recent Citi appreciation that we are seeing. News just coming in is that the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu has, through his lawyers, filed an application at the Supreme Court seeking to restrain Justice Gabriel Scott Palmer and Samuel Esiedu from the committee that is currently investigating or hearing the petition seeking her removal from office. This comes on the back of what he says accusations that both men were seen in a meeting with a lawyer connected to the case. Hansen Ajimai is our court correspondent. He's here with us to tell us more about it. Hansen, what is the former Chief Justice saying?
Well, Sammy, so the issue is that since this issue came up, we've had people go to court on the behalf of the suspended Chief Justice. Yeah. So we've had Vincent Ekwesafo, MP for Otafo, go to court invoking Article 2 and Article 130 of the 1992 Constitution to say that the processes have not been constitutional. We've now had a civil society organization and another individual go to court on similar issues. But this time around, Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, herself decided to file a suit at the Supreme Court challenging the processes. We are yet to get hold of the writ for the substantive case and what issues she's alleging of unconstitutionality with the process thus far. But what we've been able to gather, we've been able to secure a copy of the writ asking for the process to be injuncted until the determination of the substantive suit she's filed.
As in the whole committee hearing?
Yes, so she's in this injunction application, there are 4 demands that she's making. The first demand is saying that the committee that has been constituted by President John Dramani Mahama, consisting of Justice Gabriel Scott Palmer, Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Esiedu, Daniel Yadomlevo, Major Flora Dalugo, and Professor James Sefa Jisa, should be made to halt their processes. And then another order she's asking for is specific to Justice Gabriel Scott Palmer, who is the chair of the committee, and Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Esiedu, another Superior Court judge who is a member of the committee. She speaks specifically asking the Supreme Court to injunct these 2 persons from participating in proceedings, asking for her removal. The third order she's seeking is that an order suspending the operation of the warrant of suspension of the Chief Justice, which was issued by the President under Article 146, Clause 10 of the 1992 Constitution, and any further orders that the Honorable Court may deem necessary. And so these are the demands that Justice Gertrude Tokonu is making to the Supreme Court on her own behalf and in her own name.
It comes on the back of a petition that was sent to the Jubilee House, to the President, by one gentleman, Kumi, who is also asking the President to more or less put this whole committee hearing on hold. It's similar to it, right?
Yes. The facts, as we know, is that Alfred Ababu Kumi has petitioned the presidency on allegation that Justice Scott Palmer, Justice Kwame Adibu Esiedu, Justice Yoni Kulendi, and a lawyer for one of the petitioners, Tadia Sori, were spotted at a restaurant at airport, where that meeting he alleged that there were conversations about the committee proceedings, and he's imputing some form of unfairness or bias on the part of some of the members, and he's saying that for the integrity of the process to be guarded, it is important that the president first halts the proceedings and also reconstitute the committee if necessary. Another fact we know is that Justice Gertrude Tokono, the suspended Chief Justice, she's filed a suit. Subsequent to that, she's filed an application for an injunction asking for 2 of the men who have been accused by Alfred Ababiu Kumi,
yes,
to have undergone a meeting at the hotel with a lawyer of one of the petitioners. She has filed this injunction asking for these 2 persons to be injuncted, to be injuncted from participating in the affairs of the committee.
Let's stay
but
with
what we cannot link is whether these 2 issues
are linked
in any way, because at the moment we don't have the writ to the substantive suit as filed by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono.
Let's just stay with the Supreme Court, because today we also understand the Supreme Court dismissed 2 separate cases also seeking to halt the suspension and the hearing of the Chief Justice, the suspended Chief Justice.
So 2 cases. One is from a civil society organization known as. So one is from a civil society organization. The other is from a private citizen. The one from the civil society organization known as Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electronic System. They've also filed an application at the Supreme Court saying that there are certain unconstitutionalities related to the process thus far, based on which they are asking the court to halt proceedings until the final determination of the case. That injunction application was dismissed.
Okay.
But an interesting part of it is that, again, for the first time of all the suits that we've recorded as part of the process, this time around, the suspended Chief Justice was named as a defendant.
Okay.
And so her husband, in the person of Francis Kofi Tokono, was in court to represent her.
Okay.
So this is the first time she was named as a defendant in all these processes. However, the Supreme Court, the bench presiding over the case, decided to dismiss the application for an injunction. Then there's one by a private citizen known as Atakorte, and he is also arguing that if you look at Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, the processes for determination of prima facie demands that a constitutional instrument be published by the President. However, he's saying that this constitutional instrument has not been published, and so there's some unconstitutionality there. Based on this, he was asking the court to injunct or halt the committee proceedings until a final determination of the matter. But the Supreme Court, chaired by Acting Chief Justice Justice Bafuboni, decided to go ahead and dismiss the application. So these 2 applications have been dismissed as well.
We have a long way to go.
Yes, and it's interesting. Again, remember the Supreme Court had given an indication that on May 21 it was going to give its reasoned ruling on why it dismissed the earlier injunction application by old TAFO Member of Parliament Vincent Ekoesofo. And so anytime soon we should be getting that reasoned ruling and understanding what they're thinking of the 3 members of the bench who decided to dismiss the injunction, and 2 other members of the bench who also dissented in that application.
Hansen, thank you very much. Hansen Ajema is our court correspondent. Let's go to the phone line and speak to Eduji Gordon Tamaklo. He's the Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC. Joins us on the phone for some conversation. Eduji, thank you very much for your time and good evening. It looks like the Chief Justice or suspended Chief Justice is not happy with these 2 colleagues of hers, talking about Justice Gabriel Scott Palmer and then Justice Esiedu. And she believes that these 2 people should not be allowed to be part of the committee hearing the petitions against her.
So once again, let me say good evening to you, good evening to your cherished listeners, and now viewers online. Samuel, it is good hearing your voice today. Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Yes. I was saying it's good hearing your voice. I have been going through the rate. I tried forwarding it to you as well, but it's not going through. I don't know. Now, if you look at the reliefs, hello.
Godwin, I can hear you. You're live on air.
If you look at relief 1, the active chief justice, the suspended chief justice says, quote, a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 17(1) and 2, which has to do with equality before the law, Article 19(13), Article 19 Clause 3, 13, 14, Article 1467 and 8, Article 2811 of the Constitution, a Chief Justice has the right to a public hearing in proceedings before the committee. So here, if you look at Relief 1, which is the foundation, so the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is invoked by reason of the reliefs sought. So like we always say, the reliefs must first be recognized as one that properly comes before the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court relative to Article 2. So I think by way of public education, we all need to appreciate that. Now, I noticed that when my friend Hansen Ajiman was assisting you, he made the point that prior to this, there had been this Adenta Kumi wild claims that the respected lawyer Tadio Sori has described as monstrous lie. If you look at the relief sought, what the specific relief that had to do with Justice Asiedu is to the effect, and her ladyship, the Chief Justice, asserts that the original panel that she composed, remember that the Vincent Asifua suit, when Vincent Asifua issued that writ with the accompanying injunction application, if you recall, she was told, the Chief Justice of the Republic, she was then yet to be suspended. That panel that she put together to hear that injunction application, right, had Justice Asiedu in it. Now, she now makes a point in her relief, and that's a relief from, I think, relief 9. Hello?
Gordon, I can hear you.
She now makes a point in relief 9 that by reason of the fact that His Lordship Justice Asiedu was on the panel that she set up to hear the injunction, the Vincent Asifua injunction, she cannot be a person to be appointed by the president to make or to go into this inquiry. And to the extent that His Lordship Justice Asiedu was previously on the panel to determine the Vincent Asifua injunction and the suit, he is disqualified. That makes very interesting legal proposition. Because I am trying to connect the dots. Because with respect, if you look at the Vincent Asifua suit, Vincent did not go into the merit or otherwise of the petition. No. Relief 1 of Vincent Asifua's law, rate or suit was to the effect that, to the extent that the president, through his spokesperson, the Honorable Felix Pache, has given an indication that he's in receipt of petitions and that he intends to consult the Council of State as required by law. Her ladyship, the Chief Justice, ought to be in the know or effectively afforded a hearing. That's the relief that he was seeking in that suit. This committee is to make an examination into the merit or otherwise of petition itself. So if you compare the Vincent Asifua suit and the work of the committee as required by law, you can see that there is no nexus to form the basis of disqualification of Justice Asiegu. So it has nothing to do with the wild claims of identical committee. No. So that we do not poison the public as though the basis of this suit. I've been trying to send it to you so you can. My understanding is that the panel, that the 5-member panel, is supposed to start its work. That's hopefully understand tomorrow. And so this application for injunction now by her ladyship herself to restrain the committee effectively from its doing its or performing its constitutional task comes to me as quite an interesting one, leading the reliefs and also looking at the injunction application and the relief sought by way of the injunction application. And again, if you go to the relief one after the other up to relief 16, relief 1 up to 16, you would notice that some matters that possibly been litigated before the apex court, and there have been a lot of judicial pronouncements on it. But you see, in all of this, I have learned a very interesting lesson from this. You know, from 2017 to 2024, I had the opportunity of having been advocating actively in that court, from the High Court to the Supreme Court and what have you. And I've had instances where such applications have always, and I noticed the attitude of some officers of the law towards parties who come before the throne of justice. I must say, and I say this with humility and caution, that I am happy that today her ladyship, now suspended justice, is going to have the benefit of how the justice system works. You understand? How the justice system works and the opportunities it offers every Ghanaian. So her ladyship, just like any one of us, I think the lesson is that can always get to a point where he may need the benefit of the very justice that she, together with others, have over the years and period delivered to people.
Very well.
I want to just say that they say justice must be done. I remember a famous statement by her. He said, people can make all the noise, but the law is the law.
Very well.
It's my hope and belief that she'll be given all the opportunities that is required under our constitution as a citizen of this country. I think it's quite refreshing.
Very well, but for purposes of education, Gordon, just tell us, with this particular application by the suspended Chief Justice, can the committee still continue with its work?
Oh, so I'll give you a classic example. So many years ago, I remember the Electoral Commission of Ghana had decided to compile a new register by way of limited registration. And I recall vividly issuing a writ with the NDC as a plaintiff against the Electoral Commission. Then her ladyship was the Chief Justice of Ghana, then not suspended. And when I issued a writ to stop the Electoral Commission from going ahead with the limited registration exercise, in fact, it went before her. In fact, usually she would sign the writ or something. And I remember vividly, even though we served the injunction application on the Electoral Commission, at her watch, the Electoral Commission proceeded with the, what shall I say, the limited registration exercise in the name of performing its constitutional responsibility. I think that precedent is there. And so maybe the committee members are made up of very astute justices, 3 justices of our courts. No, I think 2 with 3 other civilians, I suppose. And if you look at all of this, and with the precedent I just alluded to, like they say, the law is the law. They may want to proceed. Worst case scenario will be contempt proceedings.
Gordon, thank you very much for your time. Eduji Gordon Tamaklo is the Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC. Has some more stories.
The Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, the Technical University Administrators Association, and the Federation of Universities Senior Staff Association have declared an indefinite strike starting today. The unions say the decision follows the failure of both past and present governments to honor an agreement signed 6 months ago to improve their conditions of service. National Chairman of the Senior Staff Association, George Ansong, described the strike as a difficult but necessary move, citing numerous failed attempts at dialogue.
And Mr. George also joins us on the telephone line to speak to us on this particular strike that they have declared. Mr. Ansong is joining us on the telephone to speak to us why this particular strike, and then a new development to it. A letter from the finance minister addressed to the group has also just come in, so we'll read out to them and then know their next line of action. Mr. Ansong, if you're on the line, thank you. Good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Hello, Mr. Ansong. Hello. Unfortunately, we don't have the national chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, George Ansong, on the telephone line. But then a statement just coming in from the Finance Ministry on this particular matter. It says, following conclusions of negotiations between government and the Senior Staff Association, University of Ghana, Federation of Senior Staff Association of Ghana, and the Technical University Administrators Association of Ghana, approval is hereby granted for the payment of rates of allowance payable to eligible staff of the above stated unions per the attached schedule marked. It said effective dates of implementation is the 1st of November 2024. The payment of all other allowances is to be made in accordance with the government approval rate. Kindly give effect to this, and is signed by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Counsel Ato 14, and is copied to the Controller and Accountant General Department and the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission here in Accra. So it means that the concerns they raised about allowances and the rest, the Finance Minister has issued a letter to the Controller for these allowances to be paid effective 1st November 2024. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll do business.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Visit West Africa's largest and longest running mining and power exhibition and conference, WAMPEX. It's happening from the 28th to the 30th of May 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center and the Grand Arena. This is your opportunity to engage with over 5,000 participants, including industry professionals from across the region. Don't miss out. Register now and be part of the future of mining and power in West Africa at www.wampexwestafrica.com. Headline sponsors: Metso, Goldfields. Other sponsors: B5 Plus, Newmont, Anglo Gold Ashanti, Zigen, Stanbic Bank, Hexagon, Protea Coin, Mantrac, The Bank Hospital, and Rand Refinery.
Afternoon.
Oh, afternoon.
Please, Momo.
Deposit or withdrawal?
Withdrawal.
Ah, I like how you say withdrawal. How much?
500 Ghana.
Why allow cash out?
Yes.
I feel ball number no mami why?
0241 789.
Ah, nice one. Approve.
Please, the agent's name, is it Mipiska Bebre to Crime Ventures?
Hey, into what body ni na?
She. My let I have to verify.
Always confirm the name of the person you are receiving money from before accepting a request. If you receive a request from a friend to send money to an unfamiliar number, call to confirm before taking action. Do not share your number with strangers for the purpose of receiving e-cash in exchange for physical cash, because the source could be criminal and result in legal actions against you.
MTN.
New Kivo Hot Pepper Powder. This advert is FDA approved. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Inusafu. Let's settle for the details. Ghana's recent credit rating upgrade by S&P signals growing confidence in the country's macroeconomic trajectory. That's the assessment of the Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Esiama, who believes the improved outlook is a strong endorsement of ongoing fiscal and monetary reforms for restoring stability in the economy. Speaking at the opening of the Central Bank's 124th Monetary Policy Committee meeting at the Bank Square, he added that the upgrade is a vote of confidence from global markets to rebuild Ghana's credibility and attract long-term investment.
Now, you also would have heard about the recent S&P upgrade of Ghana's sovereign rating from a selective default to CCC positive, which further affirms this progress. Our external reserves have strengthened and the trade balance has improved, as well as the consumer and business confidence indices rising steadily. However, significant challenges persist. The inflation outlook, while improving, remains vulnerable to second round effects. Food supply constraints are still with us, especially from northern Ghana and the Sahel, and external price shocks, particularly given volatile global commodity markets.
Dr. Johnson Esiama is governor of the Bank of Ghana. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana has appointed 4 advisors as part of broader efforts to modernize and diversify the perspectives informing monetary policy. The advisors are Dr. John Kwachi, Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Professor John Gachi, Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Dr. Francis Kuma, a seasoned economist and former IMF resident representative, and Franklin Belnier, a former head of banking supervision of the bank. Dr. Johnson Esiama described the advisors as distinguished professionals with deep technical expertise and policy insights. The ongoing MPC meeting comes at a crucial time as the central bank evaluates the sustainability of the Ghana cedi's recent 19% year-to-date appreciation, monitors renewed market confidence, and weighs the medium-term inflation trajectory amid easing global and domestic pressures. Away from that, the Chamber of Freight Forwarders and Traders is dismissing claims that customs officers are applying outdated exchange rates at the ports. As public calls are increasing for reduced vehicle and spare part prices to reflect the city's recent appreciation, some importers accuse customs of not aligning with updated Bank of Ghana rates. But President of the Chamber, Dennis Amfosefa, says the real culprits are shipping lines, which he claims are using arbitrary rates in defiance of central bank benchmarks. He's calling on the Ghana Shippers Authority to step in and enforce proper regulation.
So for customs, which is a state institution, they have no option than to use the Bank of Ghana rate. That is what happens all the time. The challenge is with companies that are operating within the port, and they add up the cost of doing business in the port. So no one can tell you customs is using a different rate rather than what is issued by the BOG. That is not correct. Always use rate that is issued by BOG. Something like that is where the challenge is. For them, they are not under any obligation or law to follow the charges. Some have also hedged their point, and maybe after or two will review it. They do that for currency or exchange rate fluctuations, which sometimes will be up or down against their business. That is where the main problem is. That is where the biggest challenge is, because it is not uniform.
Dennis Amfosefa is president of the Chamber of Freight Forwarders and Traders. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers is calling on oil marketing companies to implement further reductions in fuel prices at the pumps, citing the recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar. The local currency's continued strengthening has contributed to a downward trend in fuel prices, with some OMCs currently retailing petroleum products at just above 13 Ghana cedis per litre. Speaking to Citi Business News, Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, argued that there is still room for prices to drop further given prevailing forex conditions.
Our expectation is that it could have gone further down, because I always maintain that there's this unspoken rule of a litre to $1. And so if you have indeed Interbank today doing around 12.35, and then you have a lot of the OMC still trading around 13, we get every indication that we could go down further. And so we are asking that maybe the BDCs through the OMCs should reduce further, so that we can come to where we think is appropriate, and Ghanaians can get the benefits of the city's appreciation thereof fully.
Duncan Amwa is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Ghana's leading beverage manufacturer, Casapreco PLC, has maintained an impressive growth trajectory since its listing, with revenue for the 2024 fiscal year growing by 45% year-on-year to 2.7 billion Ghana cedis, driven by strong domestic scales and rising export demand. Net profit also surged by 574%, underscoring operational efficiency. This momentum continued into 2025 quarter one, with revenue up by 52%, fueled by sustained volume growth and disciplined cost management. Speaking during the company's presentation at the GSE's Facts Behind the Figures, Richard Ajay, CEO of Casapreco PLC, reaffirmed the company's commitment to transparency and investor engagement.
The business is doing well, coming off the back of us raising a corporate bond on the Ghana Stock Exchange. We believe our strategy to restructure our financing has supported the growth. So we are excited, and we are looking forward to the future growth of the business as well. So as a business, we are looking at maximum 25%, and we are hoping to do that by the close of this year. So we hope everything we are working towards comes to fruition. But if not end of this year, certainly by next year we'll look at doing it.
Richard Ajay is CEO of Casapreco PLC, and that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Inusafu. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now.
Go, the go. Go me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more Super. And the Polytank, we did Polytank. Polytank, the original, always the best.
Are you ready to lead like never before?
Ready to master the art of strategy and inspire teams that thrive?
It's the Management Bootcamp 2025.
An exclusive high-impact training for mid to senior pros.
Learn from Ghana's finest industry minds, brought to you by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM.
From the trusted voices of excellence, Citi FM and Channel 1 TV comes an elite training experience designed to sharpen your strategy, leadership, and communication.
Make a date for the Management Bootcamp 2025 from Sunday the 22nd of June to Saturday the 28th of June 2025. The venue is the Platinum Bay and Passion Base Hotels.
Call 0242-011-424 to register now.
The Management Bootcamp 2025. Lead forward. The Management Bootcamp 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News on Citi 97.3 FM. And this is Point Blank. On Point Blank tonight, we have Haruna Mohammed. He's a member of parliament for the Esunafo North constituency in the Afro region, and he's our guest tonight on Point Blank. He's also popularly known as BA. Why are you called BA?
Sammy, should I say, I was born in it. Honestly, growing up.
Your father gave me and said we are called BA.
Growing up, I was used to called Baba Haruna.
Okay.
So people will say, oh, BA, that is Baba, BA.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was a good footballer as well. So anytime I'm on the pitch, my people will be like, BA. So that is how come this name stood.
A very good footballer.
Very, very good footballer.
And you didn't play for the Blasters?
I used to play.
You had ambition of playing for the Blasters one day.
Honestly, but where we are coming from, our background, they didn't encourage us to play football.
Okay.
You remember the Dominic? Somewhere upon.
Yeah.
I attended Kumasi Anglican Secondary School.
Okay.
We were in the same class, and trust me, our class, when it comes to, we had these games. Wuncheni, I don't know whether you remember.
I know Wuncheni, yeah.
We were the best class, and I was a striker.
Okay.
So I remember they were playing for this football club called Cornerstone.
Okay.
They were at Asim Park. So anytime they will convince me, let's go for training. I said, Master, when you guys go for training, you come after preps are closed. So I wouldn't risk it. This is Ghana.
Yeah.
Tell me how many people I've gotten to where Mackenzian and Suleiman have gotten to. No. In Ghana, when you play football, you have to get luck.
Yeah.
It's about luck. Because we have a lot of talented players, but trust me, they all fall down before. That is the reason why we discontinued.
You didn't pursue the footballing career.
Exactly. So, but this is our destiny. I believe in destiny.
Sure.
This is what God has written for us. So that is, we should take it.
First time member of parliament. How are you coping in the house?
Sammy, it's not been easy, honestly. I always say our numbers are a bit disadvantage to us.
Okay. Could you speak up? Just come for a bit.
Coming to parliament, that has about 188 members of parliament in your caucus. We have second timers, third timers, fourth timers. And at a time, our president had promised Ghanaians that
only 60 ministers. He's done only 56.
Trust me. To be a member of parliament, you need something to consolidate that for your people to appreciate what you promised them.
Yeah.
You understand? So as it stands, five months in the house, it's not been easy, but we are early days yet. We know for a fact that inshallah, as time goes on, things will be okay. And our goal or our priority is to see or is to make our people happy in terms of infrastructure, job creation, and whatever we promise them.
Job creation, you promised your constituents jobs. That was one of your main issues or your main campaign message leading to you winning this election. Exactly. You unseated the former deputy sports minister.
It was youth and sports.
Yes, youth and sport then.
Yes, so you can just imagine.
To become the new member of parliament.
Honestly, me unseating somebody who was a deputy youth and sports minister at that time, trust me, if the youthful population in the constituency was 100, 80% of the youth
didn't have jobs.
Were for me.
Okay.
And the reason why they were following me or they were supporting me was for me to give them hope. That means to give them job.
Yeah.
And Sammy, I think we are fortunate to be in this government because John Dramani Mahama is the first president to have, separated the youth ministry from the sports.
Yeah.
Ghana's population has about 70% of our young people between the ages of 18 and 35, right? And you combine two ministries, that is youth and sports. Meanwhile, every budget which was allocated to the youth and sports ministry, about 80% of the budget will be channeled to
the Black Stars.
The Black Stars. Meanwhile, there's FA. So as it stands, just imagine the budget that came up recently. The sports ministry had about 60 million. But the youth ministry had more than 1.5 billion Ghana cedis allocated with them. You can talk of the Ejumara, We can talk of national apprenticeship program. We can talk of the national coders program, and I think that is one thing that give me hope, that give my people hope.
Now, and how are you tapping in to help your people?
Exactly. Thank you very much. Sammy, as it stands, National Youth Authority has opened a portal for our people to register onto the National Apprenticeship Program. Okay. The same way the NEP2 has opened the portal for the Ejumara program. Sam George has also opened the portal for the Coders program. And we've encouraged our people to keep, registering onto the portal. And I think that is one thing that will help us, make our people happy. So we've advised them, we've encouraged them. As it stands, we have our district youth coordinator, youth employment coordinator, National Youth Authority as well. We have our regional youth employment coordinator. So they are all seeing to it that our vulnerable young people at least get something to do. So I mean, it's not about, furthering education after SHS or going to SHS. No. God has, like I said, we are destined to do whatever we came onto this world to do. You understand? It's not about schooling or education.
Education is important.
Very important, though. That is the reason why we have the basic education. That's the reason why we have the senior high school education. You understand? But if our people are unable to continue after senior high school or basic education, what next? What do we have for them? They need to be enrolled onto something, a trade, an artisanry. That is the reason why this national apprenticeship program, some of us appreciate it so much. Trust me, during the campaign, every home that we go, we see somebody after completing basic BCE, which he or she could continue or get some trade to learn. But where is the apprenticeship that we call Iterinsa? Where is the startup kit? So I think this policy of national apprenticeship program is very laudable, that our young people have to tap into the opportunities that comes with it.
And are you encouraging them to do
exactly that? I post it on my WhatsApp page every day, my Facebook, all my social media. I've advised my youth employment coordinators, i.e. the district coordinator and the regional coordinator, to also encourage the people. We make announcement on radio for them to apply.
But then this particular initiative or these initiatives are national initiatives.
Exactly.
What are you doing locally to also, because very well not all of them will be able to enroll in this. What are you doing locally to also help them?
Sammy, thank you very much. Like I was telling Hans, I have for especially in Afanov is predominantly a farming, community. And some of us growing up, all we saw is our fathers, our mothers, our grandparents, going to farm. So we have interest in agriculture farming.
Okay.
And God being so good, the agriculture minister comes from our region. Okay. In fact, I share a boundary with him.
Okay.
So the plan is to institute or initiate this program, that is a farming program, where they are currently is not about there's our primitive form of farming. They have modern forms of farming. You understand?
Farming is lucrative now.
Youth in Agric program. So we will train them for the poultry. Honestly, poultry is a very, very lucrative venture. But most of us after school, we think of getting a white collar job instead of starting something on our own, like Agric. No wonder most of our young people were mocking President Mohammed's idea of and it's something that I plan supporting my people to do. We have youth in mushroom making, we have snail rearing, we have fish pond. Honestly, we are still hoping to get our statutory funding. We are still hoping that people come on board so that we can train and support our young people when it comes to areas of agric. This as I've I've tabled it down. You understand? So there are a lot of things coming up, and currently too, the Youth Employment Agency, I signed MOU with various, security agencies like the police, like the fire service, prison service, where they recruit a number of young people into the security service. I think I want to is our wish to connect our young people from Africa in general into this security service.
Let's talk about infrastructure. You have good roads, hospitals, the rest in the constituency.
Sorry. I don't know of any constituency or district in Ghana that the MP or MC can boldly say that for this constituency, with the exception of probably those in Greater Accra or Kumasi, but we that we are in the various remote constituency, trust me, our roads,
not to be the capital,
our health. Come on, when was the last time you went to go so? There's our major road. There's this major road from Tepa through to Achirinsua, Redeem, then you go to go. So honestly, even today, I think I saw some write-up from the finance minister when management of Newmont Ghana visited. I think he has tasked them to complete the road. That is from Tepa Kumasi to Kenyasi, Redeem and Goso. And this road too, there's this famous community called Kasapin. I don't know whether
I've heard of them before.
Do you know most of the lumber you see in Accra comes from that place? About 80% of the cocoa that comes to Tema Takra Depot comes from that place. There's a road Bidiako Dominasi to Kasapin. Trust me. When it rains, you can use it. When it's Hamatan dry season, you can use it, because if you don't take care, the dust will cover up your car and you might end up entering the bush. And this is a road that has most of our natural resource coming from. You understand that the road minister has assured us that he will complete that road. It started during John Mohammed's last term, that is 2016, and our people came, they abandoned the road for 8 years. So now we have ownership to that road, so we complete. The same thing applies to the major road I was talking about, that is from Tepa to Goso. That one too was started by the SY President Mohammed's government, and it was abandoned for 8 years. Now we are mandated to finish that road as well. So roads is a major problem in the constituency and Africa in general. And when it comes to town road, town roads, Goso has been a regional capital for I think 6 years now. But trust me, nothing was added to the region that was created. Even the regional coordinating council, the building itself wasn't complete before they left. Come to talk about the roads, come to talk about electricity and other stuff. So something there's work to do.
Then you have a lot to do, because you are a member of parliament for the area. Right. Your party is in power, and so there will be pressure on you to ensure that majority of these roads in the constituency.
So that is the reason why. That is the reason why we jump from one radio to the other to make our voice
appealing to the
head. Exactly.
Let's talk about tourism in the constituency, because we understand there's a huge tourism potential in the constituency. Talking about the Membo or something. What are you doing to improve the tourism potential, because that will bring you revenue, to develop the constituency or the area?
Thank you very much, Samir. It's true. Membo, there's a community. That is where I come from. The Mem. The community discovered this, rock is situated in the middle of a forest reserve.
Okay.
So there was this white man, Desmond Chamat. He came to Mem, established different companies in Mem. So he took advantage and developed that rock. Honestly, he connected electricity to the top of the rock. He built a hotel on it, He built swimming pool on it. He created stairs. He built stairs that will lead you from down to top.
Okay.
And had a very, very big car park too beneath the rock. Unfortunately, this man died, and the state of that place, trust me,
been abandoned.
Nothing to write home about. So this is like the last Easter. This is just recently,
last month.
I took it upon myself to invite some bloggers, and had a collaborative, program with the chiefs and people. So we organized, should I say, a fanfare or picnic. They used to do it, especially during Easter, Christmas, or New Year. So we went there, and these bloggers did a very good job, did a fine documentary, and it was all over. And that was the intention. My intention was for the world to know that this is what the people of Esnafno, the people of Mema.
After the videos and the rest,
exactly.
Follow-up
So I was there, in the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Honorable Yusuf Jaja.
Okay.
Sent me the documentary. I said, wow. The moment I saw the documentary, I said, yes, Afa. He sent me the documentary and he said, no. They've seen me in the video, in the documentary. Is this project in my constituency? Because the minister and the chief director sent him the video for him to analyze and see. So he said, yes, my constituency. He said, wow, come to Accra and let's see how best we can develop this place. So last week we met, myself, the Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, the Tourism, the Chief Director, the Director of Tourism and Arts. We met and drafted a proposal, and now they are working on it. Kintampo too had a similar challenge, and I think the same strategy they used to develop Kintampo, bring up canopy walk and stuff. They've assured me that is the same thing they are going to do. So the ministry has adapted the main ball as for region's major tourist site. And I think next week or so the minister will be going on regional tour, and they've assured me that she will definitely go to the main ball and see how
things for herself.
I think that place, trust me, if you go there, should I compare it to Kwao? You cannot compare that place to Kwao. Kwao is a settlement, right? Exactly. And this place is something that is in a forest reserve. Very beautiful. The atmosphere, the environment. So you will love the place.
I think I'll visit.
I will invite you.
I'll visit there. We are running out of time, but are you a member of the Works and Housing Committee? Recently, the committee, toured, some parts of the country.
Exactly.
What was the intent of this tour?
Some, before I came to Parliament, I thought parliamentary work was all about
only in the chamber.
Don't know the chamber alone is about 20%. The practical work falls under the various committees. And fortunately, I belong to the Works and Housing Committee. So anything about works falls under our jurisdiction. We have an oversight responsibility of anything that's construction, works, another matter. So in the last 2 weeks we started a tour. These are affordable houses.
Yeah.
So we first went to
Sagleme. You were there?
No, I was there.
Okay.
The first day we went to Amasama Pukwase. Yeah. So, I think somewhere last year the former minister of for example, Kojo Ponkroma, told us they were completing somewhere December 2024.
Yeah, I remember that affordable house.
So you go there right now, there's nothing there. The only thing you see is a security post. Trust me. And
no construction.
I tell you. Meanwhile, the governor spent about $10 million for consultancy work and other works there. As the people of Amasama and Pukwase, You can't find even a single building, a single structure there.
It's bare land.
I tell you. So from there we went to the Amahia for that place. They've done a nice work. Indeed, that place is what we call an affordable housing because we have some of the buildings that cost about $26,000, $30,000.
$26,000 is affordable.
Oh, come on.
To the Ghanaian worker?
Oh, come on. But you go to
no. How now? $26,000.
Go to TDC.
For the average civil servant or average.
But comparatively, when you compare all the various places we went, I think that place is
but $26,000 is not cheap. It's not. $26,000 is not cheap.
Come here.
How many people can afford $26,000 house?
In Accra?
But how many people can afford
$26,000 how much
house?
does a plot of land cost in Accra?
It depends in the
locality. That's fine.
But $26,000 is not
convert $26,000.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
But to me, I think it's a bit okay.
For you.
Not for me.
for you. But then majority of people will say that no, $26,000 is not cheap.
So over here, they have a nice, very nice project that is coming from the state housing. So we went to Identity, but where we were impressed was when we went to Tema TDC.
Okay.
Honestly, I think the new CEO or Director General is doing something good.
Okay.
They have nice projects. We went to Pong, and that is the reason why I don't know whether you heard in the news that the chairman of the Western Housing Committee recommended that why don't the government, transfer the project in Saglemi for TDC to supervise or oversee today's work. They are doing a very good work.
Okay.
And the Saglemi, so when you go to Saglemi, you cry. I'm sure most of the people who build in and around Saglemi get their raw materials from the Saglemi building to the housing. Seriously.
So
I think
before
we left government in 2016, the Saglemi project was about 90% complete.
Okay, wrap up for me in 30 seconds because we run out.
It was about 90% complete. They fixed the doors, they fixed windows. Should I say the electricity? Even the street lights pole, the poles have been removed. You go to Saglemi and you see the kind of drainage system they built. They built an underground drainage system. Sammy.
So you think it's a project this government should continue?
Exactly. Okay. But even if the government continues this project, they still need the same amount that was used to put out there.
Okay, Haruna, thank you. We run out of time. Thank you very much. Haruna Mohammed is a member of parliament for the Asunafo North constituency in the Ahafo region. He was my guest on Point Blank on Eyewitness News. And that's where we end today's edition of Eyewitness News on Citi 97.3 FM. My name is Sami Wiafe. The show produced by Kwabna Wilson, Beverly London, Juliana Odame, and this is where we draw the curtain. Technical assistant Daniel Squashy. Good night.